Okay people, here we have a new EP from Chee on DEADBEATS. I think it is the third DEADBEATS EP from him. This one is called Polarities. We have 5 tracks here, just under 20 minutes, 19 and a half minutes. So, you know, quite extensive tracks we are getting here from Chee. And yeah, enjoyed the first 2 EPs from him on DEADBEATS quite a bit. Love his style, the edgy feel of it, the half-time delivery, just the sounds that are being used, the insertion of vocal samples here and there to give it that added bite, gnarliness if you will. So yeah, just really enjoy his style. Let's kick it off, shall we, with the opener, The Wisp Song. That starting note sounded exactly like Nuclear from Zomboy on his Outbreak album. Pretty sure it was the same. I just know this is going to have some prime naughtiness in it. I can feel it already just bubbling underneath. Oh. Wee. Oh. Shut up. Wait, come on. Mate, it's so intricate. The details. Ugh. Little insertions of vocal samples like that, just to give it that. It just roots it in a really nasty kind of, you know, dark energy. Ugh, fucking love it. It's just the execution and the freshness of all these sounds. It sounds so alive and real. Oi. Oi. Matey, behave. The execution, this production. Oh, yes. That is a saucy opening there from Chee with this EP. Got pretty much everything there is to love about his style, in my opinion. Super plump, rounded off, clean, defined production. A real range with the sounds, the flow, the vocal samples, you know, jumping in here and there. Really showing off everything pretty much that there is to enjoy about his sound and his style. The energy's there very much. Maybe not with like a thing like a particular idea to return to again and again, but then it does have that do-do-do-do-do-do-do-do-do that permeates the track and makes itself known in different parts of the heaviness when each drop is kind of introduced and whatnot. This does have that feel of like opening up an EP. It's like a bit of an introduction as opposed to having, you know, that much personality, that much individuality about it, but it still does deliver. Track number 2 following that is Act Like You Know. Ugh. It's just got Chee stamped all over it. Wait. The drops just own the space they're in so effectively. It's like you can feel the presence of them. Yeah, this one again, you know, it's just got that presence, that body. He's one of the best at that, just giving his style and the tracks that are made from that style that weight, that body that you can't, you know, you can't tear yourself away from. Okay. He's done this kind of thing before where the second drop is like a little bit more understated, not quite as showy, not as in your face with the sounds that are being used. For some people it might be like, oh yeah, you know, second drop a little bit flat, doesn't do quite as much, but you know, I think it still works as a follow-on just to tone the track down from the hype of the first half and the first drop. Half-time kind of approach where there isn't a particular idea the song is framed around per se, and it's just, you know, feeling a little bit inactive conceptually. But for me, that is kinda what you do get with Chee sometimes. Like, there isn't a particular thing that stands out, but it is just the presence of it, the weight of the track and the sound overall, the body of it, just really colossal, you know, like moving along, marauding along like a big beast. And that is in many ways the main thing to enjoy about his style, really. There's a lot of, again, respect for the space and timing, which establishes the flow that we get here. I would say that the second drop, yeah, a little bit understated, doesn't quite follow up with the dark, brooding energy of the first, but it is also acting as a good way of toning the track down, which is quite a good thing given how kind of in your face and colossal that first half is. So it's not gonna, you know, be highlighted as one of his best ever, but it is solid. It is another good outlay of Chee sound that I am for the most part enjoying. Middle track is track number 3, Spangled. This is one I've heard before, but I think I've only heard it once, maybe twice most, or at most. So yeah, this is going to be a little reminder as to what this one's like. Oh yeah, I think I do remember it now. Yeah. It just skips along, it just dances along the base of the track. Oh yeah. Mate, it's just the attention to detail with knowing which sound to bring in where, like how high to have it mixed in the overall track. Just it's expert stuff. Just so jagged, like he always gets that completely spot on. The relationship between all the sounds we get here, how they exist alongside one another, like the rebounding effect, the ricocheting, how angled everything is. Like, you can do it better. He's always got those vocal samples on hand just to cut in. Here it says, trust, just giving it that gnarly. Longest track on the EP is the middle one. I like that. The kind of centerpiece around which everything else revolves in the EP. Yeah. Remember this gloominess. Oh. So intricate, so wiry. Something is being unfurled here, and it's a bit evil. I was going to say like a flower, like a blooming flower, but it's got more of an evil energy about it. Going for the understated approach there again, I think, in terms of having a second drop that's just a little bit more chilled and a bit more laid back than the first half, which is again like its predecessor, like the predecessor, Act Like You Know. Just having a more impactful statement making in your face first half, then toning it down a little bit with the second drop. But here, a bit more drawn out, you know, each drop has kind of given more room to breathe a bit. They're, you know, more enduring. They're drawn out a little bit more, and that's good. It just makes for a longer track here to constitute as the kind of centerpiece, like I said, for the EP. Another Chee track, I think, on this EP, which doesn't have that many memorable things about it or motifs and whatnot, apart from maybe the really nice effect. Loved that. He goes back to that quite effectively over the track, but could have had a couple more in those. Could have had a couple more of those in there. Sorry. I think it is clear here that we're getting like a leveling up in terms of cleanliness with his production, which is quite something to say, given how madly, incredibly produced his other EPs in the past have been. Another one that I have heard already, I think, Rusty Nichols at track number 4. Nice to get a melody just taking centre stage here. I don't think we've quite had that so far. Mate. Actually, I don't think I have heard this one. This vocal's sick. Oi. Very, very mad sound design. A couple people chatting it up in the chat. It's naughty. It is naughty. Oh, there we go. There we go. Yep. It was nice to just have a melody just given the spotlight and left almost entirely by itself just to open a track up. Wasn't sure we'd had that so far. I could be wrong, but that did seem like a unique thing to bring to the table. Also, there were some really interesting vocal chops just before the first drop comes in the build, and I wasn't sure that had been the case again for the ones that have come before it so far with this EP. It has that classic, you know, moving, trudging along Chee kind of vibe about it, but without a bite, without like a spark to it that the others before it here have had. Kind of ever present with this EP, I would say so far. The amount going on, the cleanliness of it all, that is there, but yeah, the ideas here just feeling a little bit more ineffective, and they don't have quite as much of a presence or kind of personality about them. But yeah, don't get me wrong, production and the amount that is going on in terms of sound usage still very much on point. But finally, we have track number 5, which I definitely haven't heard. Hold It, the closer, 4 minutes 5 seconds. Couple organs going on here. Okay. Oi, 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 oi. It's got a bit of a jumpiness about it that we haven't seen here before. It's been more of like a consistent vibe with the flow, but this one's got a deep dab, deep dab. Again, going for the understated, or down the understated route. This one especially good because it's just a way of tying up the EP. I think the intro was good, led us into the track and the kind of finale of the EP, if you will, very well. And then the first drop, yeah, had that jumpiness about it. Again, re-engaging that jagged feel, which he can be very good at, and he's just shown it again here very much so. Yeah, darting and dancing about with the sound usage, keeping the flow. You know, there is a flow there, but just veering off it slightly with these little jumpy bits of sound that give it that bounce, which he's like I said, very capable of, and does it very well there. And then again, like I said, going down that understated avenue for the second half of the second drop, and it works particularly well here, having that dreamy, ethereal kind of ending and outro, just to tie the EP up and tone this track in particular down again. I think by itself, maybe this track didn't need that kind of toned down second half as much as others that have come before it here, where the first drop is a bit more statement making and in your face and whatnot. But yeah, again, as a way of rounding off the EP, it works very well. Not quite in full flow, I wouldn't say. I don't think there's a track here that is just like one you could single out as being like, yep, that is going to be one that will go down in the ages of Chee tracks within his discography, you know, singled out as one of his very best. I'm not sure we quite get any of those here, like a Beaver Fever or a Lid on the Squid, for example, those exceptional cuts from his discography. But it is solid, it is very good. There aren't that many kind of dull moments or points where you're like, need a little bit more here. Maybe a couple drops here and there, but for the most part, just his sound, a good dose and outlay of his sound, good bits of variety where you can get them with the flow and the layout and stuff like that. The vocal samples are on point here pretty much throughout across every track. A consistent EP, and again just a good smattering of Chee tunes that we are getting here. Enjoying that one. Chee, DEADBEATS, Polarities EP.